This is Money Moves on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Lots to get into here as we welcome you into our second hour of Money Moves on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Stormy, Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you live in downtown Las Vegas at Circa Resort and Casino. I know you never want to miss a moment of the show, and you don't have to. Money Moves always available in podcast form wherever you get your podcast. Lots of reacting to the weekend in the first hour of the program. We're going to push it forward a lot this hour, looking at some of the market moves in both the NFL, looking toward Week 12, college football, Week 13. We'll have best bets at the end of the hour, and a lot of Monday Night Football talk here. Monday night!
You keep making that reference. I don't understand.
It's the Monday Night Football guy for the Spanish-speaking broadcast. He is the best broadcaster in the history of broadcasts.
Okay.
He's my favorite. How do you not know? You never seen any of his post-game interviews?
Oh, okay. I've seen the post-game interviews, kind of.
So
I don't have that much.
Man.
I don't have that much space for these things.
I'm going to have to play some of this for you in the commercial break.
No, I know what you're
he's
talking
a 10.
about. I understand what you're talking about. I know who he is. I've heard the interviews.
And he's going to be out there tonight in Sin City, in Vegas. Raiders, Cowboys. Let's go.
Was it J.K. Dobbins who was talking to him? One of the interviews I watched of him. So, yes, I understand who you're
Because he also speaks Spanish.
J.K. Dobbins does?
Some.
I was going to say, yeah, I don't know if he speaks Spanish because I watched that clip. He speaks some. Is a very good way to.
Yes.
I do. I speak some. I don't think I would say I speak Spanish, though.
What do you think about Monday Night Football tonight, though? I know we've already discussed that you do like the Raiders in this spot, plus 3.5. And I guess when you are getting that hook, it makes you want to lean that way a little bit more. The biggest question I have is how improved will the Cowboys defense look now that they've added a couple new and important pieces to the fold? They bring over Quinnen Williams from the Jets. They bring over Logan, of course, from the Cincinnati Bengals as well. And so things are happening in a positive way. It's amazing early on in the season when you're looking at certain things for the Cowboys, like, they can really use a pass rusher right now after moving on from Micah Parsons.
First off,
they got one.
Deep cut. You did a tremendous radio job in terms of the hard out on the last segment. And then you did following it up here with a classic radio thing where you ask me a question and then go on to answer your own question. What do you think about Monday night? And then just rattled off a whole bunch of stuff about Monday night. It's a classic radio host thing. I love it.
Well, I'm learning from the best.
That's a good shot. I would say that I am going to fall for the low-hanging fruit and say, you know what? Cowboys defense stinks. Give me 3.5 points. I mean, it's really like the basic concept. But I do think there's a couple of things that obviously work for the Raiders. First and foremost, I tried this last week on Thursday Night Football against the Broncos. It did not work out, but I would assume it works out this week. Markets bet up Brock Bowers on his receiving yards prop. And I just don't see a universe in which a defense that, yes, has added pieces up front, as you mentioned, but on the back end continues to be a defense which, across the board, you want to look at success rate, you want to look at EPA per play allowed, all these sort of things. This is a defense that is 31st, 30th in the National Football League of 32 teams in the Dallas Cowboys. Why would I trust that they're going to be able to suffocate this team to the point where they're going to, win by 4 or more points and maybe suffocate it strong, but just do enough defensively to get it done? And I just don't feel like that is it. I know the Cowboys coming off of a bye week. Raiders do have a little bit of extra rest themselves coming off of Thursday too. So a slight rest advantage for Dallas, but I still just think I don't like this defense enough to say, you know what, 3.5 on the road, albeit road is not really worth that much, is worth laying here with Dallas.
I stayed off the side in this game just because, it just feels like it's two bad teams and who knows what could happen in that situation. And how many times this year have I laid a number with the Dallas Cowboys and I got bit for it? So yeah. I just wanted to stay away in general. That said,
really quick to interrupt you, though, some of the ones that I'm thinking of that you liked, and this isn't a shot at you, but it's just thinking about the volatility with this defense. Mm-hmm. The 1.5 points against the Chicago Bears, the 5.5 in that ridiculous shootout against the New York Giants. Like, this team is just so volatile and terrible that, even maybe I'm making a mistake that because this defense is the way that it is, and both of them aren't really good, I could maybe find something better and still get, the best of it in game.
When you think about the Raiders defense as well, you're kind of making a little bit of a case for the over in my mind as well at the 49.5. But your general concept here, though, of I like the Raiders because I don't like the Cowboys defense. How does that then set up in your mind from a prop market perspective? And are there some names you think can specifically capitalize on that bad defense?
Well, and I would say really quickly, while the Raiders are below average, I think that's a better term for them than bad.
Okay.
I mean, so for example, look, they're 19th in expected points added per play by opponents. That's not really great. However, let me read you this list. Number 1, Denver Broncos. Number 2, Green Bay Packers. Number 3, Seattle Seahawks. Number 4, Los Angeles Rams. And number 5, the Las Vegas Raiders. That's the top 5 teams in terms of explosive play rate allowed. Mm-hmm. So the Raiders, at the very least, what they do, down to down, you'll probably get the yards that you need. But generally, you probably won't get some of the explosive plays. They're doing a pretty good job at limiting, run plays of 10 or more yards, passing plays of 15 or more yards. And so, it's going to be death by paper cuts, if you will.
Well, I'm going to need the Cowboys to get one, specifically to a CeeDee Lamb.
To your point, that helps your case. I brought this up in, I think if you remember last Thursday, we talked about this, which I was trying to make the case for Bo Nix under longest completion. Mm-hmm. He did hit the over, and that was just one, but it was like 41 yards. They did get one. And just because you're good at limiting explosive plays doesn't mean you don't allow explosive plays. So you can still give those up. I'm
probably going to find other ways to continue to play this game tonight, but the one best bet I do have, and we'll rehash this at the end of the hour as well, is CeeDee Lamb longest reception over 26.5 yards. I was going through his game logs. Mm-hmm. I mean, he does it every week. Every single week, regardless of the defense. Aside from the game he got injured against the Bears, he's gone over every single game this season. And with Dak throwing him the ball, he's hit this in 12 straight dating back to last season. Let's go. Dak to CeeDee, over 26.5 longest reception. And go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, sometimes we have to do all this nuanced analysis. Why can't it just be that? Let's go.
Let's go. Just give me a pop play to CeeDee.
Let's go.
I'm here for it. You brought up the Brock Bowers of it all earlier, though, and how he didn't have the performance last week. But 2 weeks ago in his debut back, he looked healthy to me, and that they're going to want to get him involved against a Cowboys defense that is not exactly the caliber of the Broncos. So how do you see it?
I mean, I think if you don't have anything, I would say, why not go back to it? He should. Now, against the Broncos, that's a very good defense, so I think it explains away some of the reason why he struggled. It doesn't really explain why Geno Smith wasn't really looking for him. He didn't even have the targets.
3 targets, 1 catch.
Right. But here, again, this is like the worst defense in the NFL. You're playing at home, indoors. This should be the opportunity to get him activated again. I would expect 11-ish targets here and a high rate of catches, and Brock to look like Brock Bowers against this defense.
So the Cowboys defense is particularly bad against wide receivers. They give up the most yards to opposing wide receivers in the league per game and the most touchdowns per game. Is there a receiver outside of Brock Bowers that you would have any interest in?
Does anybody else play for the Las Vegas Raiders? So we can.
Geno and Tyler Lockett got some chemistry from Seattle.
That's a good point. And we did have a little bit of a Lockett sighting. No, I'll say this. I mean, I think it's going to be hard outside of Brock Bowers personally to kind of find who's going to get something else. Because to your point, if you want to go by specifically receivers, by DVOA standards, 30th against wide receiver 1. This is Dallas defensively. 32nd against wide receiver 2. 28th against wide receiver 3. 25th against tight ends. 27th against running backs. So in other words, it's just a bad defense. So trying to find out where else the targets might go when I do know for sure that there is an alpha here that is the best player on the team by far, and that is Brock Bowers.
It's just one of those things that, again, a reason why I couldn't get there on the side, although I'll be rooting for your Raiders ticket because that is our final selection in Circa Millions tonight. We are 3-1 entering today, so let's see if we can get back-to-back 4-1 weeks. That would be a good start to the quarter.
Let's go.
But it's just yes, I get that the Cowboys defense is bad. Can the Raiders take advantage of that?
Yeah.
I don't know. And I look to their offensive line as well. Obviously, since week 4, they've been without Colton Miller, although Pete Carroll did give an update that he's expected to be back soon, so that's good. They're now down Jackson Powers-Johnson, who went on IR last week after hurting his ankle against the Broncos. So for a unit that already wasn't very good, now down key pieces, that gives me some concern. And I know you mentioned Ashton Genty earlier on, and hey, could he do something in this game?
Over 2.5 receptions?
I hope so.
Oh, no, you want rushing touchdowns.
I need rushing touchdowns, yes. I need 7.
Tonight?
What does that pay out?
I mean,
no.
2 tonight.
What's the record, 5?
Something like that, yeah. Just get you 2 tonight. Specifically, they have to be rushing touchdowns for audience.
Yes, they do have to be rushing touchdowns. And I was really a believer in this, too, because I was thinking, okay, short yardage, goal line situations, you're going to go to Genty. And that is just, they just haven't had a lot of opportunities to be able to do that kind of thing. And he's had significantly more receiving touchdowns than he has rushing touchdowns.
I'd be curious.
Frustrating.
What's the, so the real question here, Geno Smith.
To throw an interception, I already looked at the juice. It's like minus 158.
To the over?
Yes,
to the over?
To have an interception is like minus 158.
Oh, I think I want to bet that under.
Oh.
I mean, that's a high price against a really bad defense. If we're really buying into how bad this Dallas defense is, the market has really juiced that to the over because, of course, Geno Smith is Geno Smith.
He has only had 2 games all season without one.
That is correct.
That is why it's juiced that way.
That
he
is
has
correct.
12 on the year.
Yes, that is understandable. Having said that, I mean, look, took on Washington on the road, didn't throw an interception. That's a bad defense. He's capable of not being abhorrent, isn't he?
That's what you want to bet on? Yeah, he's capable of not being abhorrent. Is
he not?
That's what I want to put my money on, ladies and gentlemen.
You're laying $150 on, yes, he's going to throw an interception? Play this back when he throws 3 tonight.
Our AI prop projector, by the way, does have Geno going over his passing yards today.
Okay.
The prop is set at 333.5. The AI prop has it 337.5. So 4-yard edge there isn't a huge edge like we see in some of these where it's like 20 plus off based on the projection. But I think worth noting, actually, both of the quarterback props have the projection of them going over against what you will call like what's middling Raiders defense and a bad one for the Cowboys. But if you want to be able to analyze some of your prop thoughts with the prop projections, it's super easy. You go to vsin.com/subscribe, sign up to get unlimited access to everything. But vsin.com/NFL props, you go to the quarterback, running back, or wide receiver. You can find information on all of them. You just type in the little box the name of the player you're trying to find out the projection for, and it'll compare it directly to the line that's available at DraftKings. It's pretty sweet. On that note, we do have to step aside here real quickly. When we come back, keeping it with the theme of the NFL, there are a lot of lines that have been on the move, a lot of injury updates you need to know. We're hitting it all coming up next on Money Moves.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Odds move up, odds move down. Let's see where the odds are moving today, and do you approve this move?
Let's do it, shall we? Stormy, Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you back here in Viva Las Vegas. Time for Do You Approve This Move NFL edition. We're going to start looking ahead to Thursday night in Week 13 of the NFL because we've already got a handful, Week 12 in the NFL, Week 13 in college football, which we'll get to in about 15 minutes. But starting on Thursday night, Bills at Texans. Buffalo coming off of a huge performance from Josh Allen, 6 total touchdowns, 3 through the air, 3 on the ground. We've seen this spread go up from 2.5 to now 5.5. Houston should get CJ Stroud back. We would imagine. Haven't seen an update on the concussion protocol as of yet.
So what is this? Is this a downgrade of Houston coupled with an upgrade of Buffalo?
I think so. They almost lost to the freaking Tennessee Titans yesterday.
Stroud, as you mentioned, still remains in concussion protocol, so we will see if he can get out for this week. D'Amico Ryan told reporters Monday is still there. Chance of being cleared in time to play are hampered by the fact that Houston, of course, playing on Thursday. So I like Houston here, and I'm going to go against it, and I want to see look, CJ Stroud be damned. Give me Davis Mills, too. I feel like this is a little too much of an adjustment. If there is a defense that is going to pick at the scab of the issues you and I have talked about with this Buffalo team when it comes to receivers and the inability to get open and trust your guys to kind of play man while pressuring the opposing quarterback, Houston would be the team to be able to do that.
If this wasn't on Thursday night, I think this would probably be a contest play for me.
Ooh, yeah.
But
it still can be.
Yeah,
we are of free will.
That's tough. You got to submit them all on Thursday, though, and I thought we agreed as a team we weren't going to do that.
I mean, I thought we agreed on a team to communicate and have plays ready for other things as well. And
I don't know what you're talking about.
that falls to the wayside.
That's really interesting. That's so weird. I don't know what you're talking about. My thought here with Houston is, I mean, obviously I laid the 5.5 with them yesterday, and it was a very frustrating experience.
Was it?
Having to watch that
You didn't
game,
show it.
the way that it played out. Can I just go back to the well?
Yes. Who cares what happened last week? Last week is a different week.
Their defense is so good. Maybe
if you played on the if your analysis always tied into the last week's performance,
that'd be dumb.
Wouldn't be great.
Obviously, but it's definitely sticking there in the back of my mind right now. How about the Steelers and Bears?
That's actually a great example. The week before, Davis Mills was slicing and dicing the Jacksonville Jaguars on the way to a fourth-quarter comeback.
Yeah.
Then my man couldn't even get into the end zone against him.
It's the Titans. I just don't understand how it happened. By the way, if you haven't seen the update, they had a couple significant injuries. Calvin Ridley, you feel for him because he just came back from the hamstring. ends up having a broken fibula, so he's out for the rest of the season. And then Chimere Dike, who was leading the NFL in all-purpose and return yards, chest injury. He's already ruled out ahead for next Sunday. So keep that in your back pocket as well on Tennessee. No big moves here. How about the Steelers and Bears, though? So Chicago, we talked about this yesterday on Live Bet Sunday. It seems like what they are doing, Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, has really helped make a shift. They are now leader in the clubhouse in the division, which is a crazy thought, although still third on the odds board to win it at 4-1. They're getting bet up here from 1.5 out to 3, or bet up the adjustment, with the Steelers on the other side and Aaron Rodgers, who is a 50-50 shot to go with a fracture in his non-throwing wrist. Mason Rudolph had to come in the game for him yesterday. Do you approve the move?
I mean, given the opponent as well, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say no to 3 with Pittsburgh either. You know, we've talked about Chicago and the lack of a pass rush for the Bears, the fact that that's where they really struggled in certain situations. You know, the Steelers are not a great team. Again, they're like, to use the phrase that you stole from me, a middling squad, especially on defense. They're pretty average.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask if the worm was going to turn.
No, not here. There is no worm that it needs to turn in this situation. So I do think that there's probably a chance that you come out here and say, hey, if you're get really solid to average quarterback play from Mason Rudolph, that you're going to be able to do some damage to this Bears defense. In fact, yesterday, J.J. McCarthy was only pressured on 9 of his dropbacks. It's under 30%. You know, it's not a high clip at all. So if you can get Mason Rudolph, has played a lot of football to be comfortable out there, I don't see why the Steelers would not be able to stay inside of 3 against the Bears defense that I don't particularly trust.
Okay. The Cincinnati Bengals be struggling, to put it gently. They've lost 3 straight, taken on a Patriots team that's riding an 8-game win streak, and this has moved out from 5.5 to that key number of 7 in favor of the Patriots on the road in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I kind of like the Bengals here, don't you? No?
Oh, gosh.
I mean, we've talked about this a lot. We did it more on Friday when you weren't here. We brought this up on Sunday, though, which was, look, if you look at the Patriots' opponents, they have not really played anybody, as we have noted. Like, everybody knows about what the schedule has looked like.
Particularly, I thought their defensive numbers were really bolstered by the opposing offenses they played. So,
yes,
if you like what the Bengals have offensively.
Correct. So
could be potentially without Jamar Chase, though.
Yeah, they could be. So that's, and I assume, what are we talking about here, suspension?
I think so, yeah, for the spitting incident.
Average opponent rank in defensive efficiency for the Patriots, 18.6 out of 32 teams. We'll call them elite defenses faced, so top 5. Cleveland and Tampa Bay, that's it. And these are all in terms of efficiency. Bottom 10 defenses, 3, and then middle tier, so 15th to 22nd, they faced 5 of them. In other words, Patriots haven't really played anybody with the skill position talent that the Bengals could boast. And even then, you still have T. Higgins, like, you still got stuff out there. I don't know, I feel like you've been waiting for this Patriots team to get tested while slowly their market power rating increases. What better way to test this theory than taking a full 7 at home with the Bengals, given their skill position talent that they have?
Do you think that it's built in already, the assumption that Jamar Chase is going to miss the game? Because we know that was the penalty for Jalen Carter.
Sure. I would say it's not fully baked in.
Okay.
Now, there's probably, we do this all the time with injuries, where you kind of meet me halfway sort of deal, where you have some sort of an adjustment, and then when the guy's officially ruled out, you get that extra bump. So maybe this gets 7.5 across the board, maybe 8. But I would not think that this is the full-on Jamar Chase is not going to be available.
So I like this next move. Your Colts coming off the bye, have to head to Arrowhead in Kansas City. Chiefs were 4.5-point home favorites. Now that number is just sitting at 3. Do you approve the move with the Chiefs struggling to close out these close games, if you think this is going to be a close one, as the odds indicate?
I have to recuse myself. I need your analysis here.
I like the Colts.
Okay. All right. I would just say I agree.
Yeah, I feel like getting a field goal or better with a team that I think is pretty darn legit, even on the road. Chiefs are in a bounce back spot. I just don't know if the Chiefs are that team this year. And they've had this aura around them for so long, and they've had this perception of no matter how much they're down, if you get the ball in Patrick Mahomes' hands late, they're going to find a way to pull it off. And I just don't think that's the case anymore.
Yep. The Indian Colts, like the Colts as well, they still have some names looming in terms of injury. DeForest Buckner, Charvarius Ward, too. But I would say that if Sauce Gardner looks like the Sauce Gardner that showed up over there in Germany, which he looked pretty good against Atlanta, and you get a little bit healthier on defense. You get a week to get ready. I think Steichen and this play calling, they're good. They've been getting ready, sitting back, getting ready for Casey. I know Kansas City's desperate, but as you mentioned, I mean, look, I think the market's just a little high, as we kind of got an example of that over the weekend where they're laying 4 on the road. Market bet them up to 4.5 at multiple spots, and they end up losing the game outright. I'm kind of down with the Colts catching like 3 or more. We'll see what the market does here, but I think that might be the side. And I'll take you back. 2018 Sunday Night Football brisket. Jacoby Brissett rolls into Kansas City. Colts have a history of upending Kansas City, so let's do this again. Come on now.
Speaking of Brissett.
That totally impacts this game this weekend, too.
Speaking of Brissett.
Oh, yeah.
The dude threw for 452 passing yards. Mm-hmm. And his team still lost by 22.
Set a record, most completions in a game?
Yep. He set a couple records, from what I understand. He and the Arizona Cardinals are going to be back at it against the Jags this week, where we've seen a flip of favorites in this spot. Arizona was a 1.5-point favorite on the look-ahead. Jacksonville, coming off the dominant performance against the Chargers, out to 2.5 on the road. You
tell me if you can figure out what Jacksonville is at this point right now.
It's just another Jekyll and Hyde NFL team. The total, by the way, also moved 3 points toward the over from 44.5 to 47.5.
It is quite literally Jekyll and Hyde. No show at home against the Seahawks. Smoked in Jacksonville by the Rams. You go out to the Raiders. You barely get by there. You come back home. You blow the game against the Texans. You blow out the Chargers. I mean, I don't know how you would feel comfortable putting a finger on whatever this Jacksonville team is at this point right now. A few other totals that are on the move as well. Giants at Lions from 48.5 up to 50.5. Vikings at Packers from 43.5 down to 41.5. You imagine some potential weather at Lambeau, as well as just the state of the offense where things have currently sat. And then Monday Night Football, Panthers at 49ers, up from 45.5 to 47.5. How are you going to watch? Oh, man. What's the Buonantony household going to be like? So uncomfortable, especially because my husband, who's a Carolina Panthers fan, has already some of his family in town, and there's going to be more family in town by Monday to watch the game. And we're a house divided. I'm going to be like my lone wolf there in support of the 49ers. You want to come over? You want to come over and support me? Sure. Be my friend? Anybody else want to come join me? Because I'm going to be a lone wolf in that household. This is a big one. 7-4, 6-5, wild card on the line. Like, this is it. This is a playoff game. I do approve the move toward the over, though, considering that shift up 2 points. And that's, I mean, the 49ers' defensive issues and all their injuries, a big part of why I liked the over so much yesterday against the Arizona Cardinals. I didn't get to my last Call Me Crazy. Did you see it? What? You call me crazy. You ever play Super Smash Brothers as a kid? Remember when you get a new character and a new challenger has appeared? There's a new challenger in the NFC, and they're up in the Bay Area. In the NFC? Yeah. Wow, you think the 49ers can contend for it still? They are getting healthy, peaking at the right time. That's what it's all about. They're getting their offensive weapons back, ladies and gentlemen.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Ooh, buddy. I was just saying to JVT in the commercial break, his two favorite Mountain West football teams going head-to-head on a Friday night. Doesn't get much better than that. Well, I don't know where the charge of Hawaii being my favorite football team is coming from. In fact, I would argue that if I had another favorite, it would be New Mexico. Who, much like an old Yeller situation, I had to put them down over the weekend because Colorado State, we were hoping for Colorado State, who almost pulled out the upset. I will not doubt you on Mountain West football ever again. But I don't know, the way that you were talking about Mike Alejado down the stretch, particularly the way that he was carving up San Diego State, I thought they were your new favorite. I thought
Bishop Gorman alum.
There you go.
7th most famous Bishop Gorman alum.
We need to get some more Palo Verde alums out there.
Behind Joey Gallo, DeMarco Murray, myself, some others. Joey Gallo, a.k.a.? J.J. McCarthy. There you go. For those who had missed it, my comp for J.J. McCarthy was that he was Joey Gallo. I will not explain any further. We never got any real feedback from that on social media. So I know JVT's not going to give you the context now, but if you agree or disagree, tweet at him, at MeJVT, at VSiN Live. Just walk in, make the comp, and leave. I bring this up because last segment, we're going through the NFL Week 12 lines for coming up
this weekend and where we've seen some shifts, and do you approve this move? A lot of market movers in college football from the Sunday openers as well to now, including the aforementioned UNLV Rebels, who go from a 2.5-point home favorite against Hawaii to 3.5. Do you approve the move? And I just thought that was significant going over the key number.
No, I don't. And the market agrees because we're back to 3 at a couple of spots, in most spots, I would say. And in fact, some 2.5 juice to the favorite side are out there. You give me, if this 3.5 pops back up, I'll take it all day. Look, UNLV should have lost over the weekend. I don't know how much you got to see of it or what exactly transpired. You get lucky where Utah State misses a gimme field goal at the end of regulation to force overtime. Absolute chaos from there. UNLV defensively has some really big issues, as we have seen time and time again. And as you alluded to, Mike Alejado and this Rainbow Warriors offense, it at least has a pulse. It can at least throw the ball downfield. It can spread you out. It can go after a defense, which has been very bad all season long. And don't forget, as you will know this, being a resident out here, but for those who are around the country watching us or listening to us, this is a big rivalry spot. This is the Ninth Island. The Golden Pineapple is at stake this weekend, Friday night out here in Las Vegas. UNLV's won 2 straight and 3 of 4 in the series. This is going to be one where Hawaii will take very seriously. And again, all of these teams that are in contention for the Mountain West, we have a glut of teams with just 2 losses in conference play. Every single one of them can get their way to a Mountain West championship game. So this will have a faux playoff type atmosphere, I think, on Friday night, which will be pretty interesting. And I think you'll see a little bit more Hawaii support than initially expected. So all of that put together, yeah, I think UNLV laying 3.5 a little too much, and market seemingly agrees with me there.
So San Diego State is the favorite to win the Mountain West title. They're back to odds on at -110, which I thought was a little bit of a surprise. UNLV's there at +425, and I guess your other favorite team, 6-1.
New Mexico, yes.
Yeah, Hawaii's right there, though, it's 7-1. So I don't know. Pick your poison between those 2 longer shots.
Yeah, and well, so I'm glad you brought that up because that was one thing that stuck out to me: the odds-on status of San Diego State to make to win the Mountain West championship game. Now, to make it, their schedule: home versus San Jose State, and then at New Mexico,
which are not gimmies by any means at all. Those are going to be. I mean, maybe San Jose State not as much, but New Mexico is going to be a tougher game.
Yeah, New Mexico. I mean, San Jose State's fallen apart. They've only won 2 games since the Idaho win, in which they barely got by the Vandals 31-28, and that was obviously non-conference.
Listen, San Diego State is not in a position to look over anyone, I guess, is where I come from with that.
I would completely agree. I mean, again, look, the Mountain West stinks. I think this is kind of the whole point. They're all beating up on each other. They all are kind of just this mush of football teams, and who knows who's going to come out of it. But to your overall point here about San Diego State, -110, I understand that they have the clearest path to a Mountain West championship game. I don't think that they're this much better than these other teams. And in fact, even though I just made the case that Hawaii is, the side against UNLV, if you like UNLV this weekend, I don't see why you wouldn't be taking some +425 to win the Mountain West. Because in a matchup with San Diego State, what have we talked about with SDSU? Their biggest weakness is the fact that they have not played. They played one team with a pulse on offense. And guess who it was? It was the team that Hawaii went out there and just smoked them. So I do think that there's something to be said of like matchups and styles make fights. A team like UNLV, I think, would be very alive to beat San Diego State. Yes, more than likely they'd have to go out to the snap to play them. But either way, in a Mountain West championship game with UNLV versus San Diego State, I would take, wouldn't you love to be sitting on +425 with UNLV? I think you'd be pretty live there.
Sure. I mean, SDSU won and covered against Boise State this week, despite Denegal having 17 pass yards.
Yeah.
Like, think about that.
And to be fair, like that was kind of like a monsoon.
Weather, yeah.
It was super rainy. But either way, look, they're a good defensive team. The second you're going to force this team to try to play catch up, or at least score with some sort of style that is reminiscent of 2025 football, that is, I think, going to be a problem.
We've spent way too much time on this game.
Absolutely
the game of the week. Although we're out to a double-digit spread in some places. USC at Oregon. Oregon out from 7.5 to mostly 9.5 in the market, but there are still a 10.5. The total is also ticked up from 58.5 to 60.5. USC coming off the win over Iowa, which barely got that under. So thank you for kneeling it out, Jaden Mayaba, at the end. But with USC, they did have a couple injuries, and we haven't heard the update from Lincoln Riley yet on what those are going to be. But starting safety, Kamari Ramsey had to check himself out of the game, go into the injury tent. Keyshawn Silver, D tackle, had to go out as well. So a couple key pieces on defense that did have to leave the game.
So I'm going to ask you, we've talked a lot about the struggles of USC on the road in conference play. Having said that, we're talking about that from the perspective of making these trips to the Midwest. you're staying on the West Coast here. You're not having to go too far. It's a trip that, as a program, you're somewhat used to. Again, every program's different. A lot of these guys weren't part of the Pac-12 version of USC. But either way, it's not this daunting, hey, early morning kick and we have to be in Illinois on a Saturday or something like that. This is much different. So I wonder how much the road struggles are being factored into this, being up to 10.5. You mentioned some of the injuries. All this being said of I kind of believe in USC a little bit. They've kind of converted me here a bit.
So I don't know if I'm too in the weeds with USC because I've been backing them pretty regularly throughout the course of the season. And I've been making the case for the last 2 weeks for them to get that third Big Ten spot in the college football playoff when all is said and done. They obviously have to win this game in order to take that spot from Oregon. And I kind of think they can. And listen, I think Oregon is an awesome football team, and they're 10 and whatever point favorite for a reason because they are at home. Dan Lanning is an awesome coach. He knows how to get guys geared up for the big game. They have some advantages, clearly, with their defense as well. But I think USC just kind of has a little something that I would not count them out in this game by any means, even at Autzen.
And we should know the market has moved off this. It's 9.5 across the street.
Okay,
so
there's no more 10.5 left.
Not that I'm at least looking at my screen. So the initial move toward Oregon, but now we're back down to 9.5. And I would at least agree with that, especially the key number of 10 and 10 with the hook, if that appears again. I would be surprised if it does, though. But if you're going to give me 10, I would jump on that with USC.
BYU at Cincinnati. The Cougars out from 1.5 to 2.5. This total up as well from 53 to 54.5.
What does the Princess of Provo have to say?
Boy, did the Cougars exercise some demons against TCU. So much for that sharp money on the Horned Frogs. My goodness.
Have they requested you for this weekend?
Thank you all, BYU Cougars fans out there. I've had a lot of requests to be there at Cincinnati this week. Unfortunately, I cannot do it. I will be in the state of Utah, though.
For our audience, reset the trend.
Yes, for anyone who missed it, I have been covering the sidelines for ESPN for the last 5 years. I have covered 13 BYU games in that time. They have never lost a game that I have been on the call for.
And they have covered 10 of them.
And they have covered 10 of the 13. Yes.
So 13-0 straight up.
And they've had some big numbers that they've had to cover along that road, too. Been underdogs a few times and won outright.
13-0 straight up, 10-3 against the spread with Stormy Buonantony, the Princess of Provo, on the sidelines.
So I'm not going to be out there in Cincinnati, unfortunately, this week. But for a Cincinnati team that's clearly taken some lumps and taken a step back, and BYU, I think, had a big reality check moment. And it was a pretty Murphy's Law type game for them, too, against Texas Tech. Their front did get manhandled. I don't think that's anything to question, but they had a lot of stuff go wrong that was extremely uncharacteristic for them, and they fixed all of them against TCU, and I think they're going to come ready to play in Cincinnati, so I do approve the move.
Yeah, I mean, I would acquiesce to you. You've had them a couple of times down. Yeah, I think you have a pretty good read on what they are. I think that I'd be tempted, the low-hanging fruit of under a field goal against a Cincinnati team that I think has some clear issues on defense. But you look at a lot of these spots and you go, oh, that seems pretty easy. I'll go there. And sometimes it doesn't really work out.
It inevitably never is. Last 30 seconds here. Any of those other moves that caught your eye?
Let's see. Not particularly. I mean, I guess when you look at Michigan and Maryland, 11.5 up to 14, that move in that direction in favor of Michigan. Cal and Stanford. I mean, Cal laying 4.5 and the market pushing that under that key number on the adjustment there, I think is pretty interesting as well. But outside of that, it doesn't really stick out a ton. This week doesn't look as sexy as the last couple of weeks.
I know College Game Day is going out there to Eugene, Oregon, but Washington State at JMU, come on, we got to give our...
It's a big one.
It's a big game.
Well, I guess, I don't know, some are just poo-pooing on James Madison's potential to be a college football playoff team.
That total, and do you approve this move, down from 45.5 to 42.5. And listen, we always like to talk about this. If you are looking to boost your bankroll, we are here to help you out. Brocco is giving new depositors a 50% bonus up to $750 in Brocco cash when you use our promo code VSIN when you sign up. That's VSIN. Brocco's lines are live on our VSIN betting splits page each and every day as well, so you can see where the action's moving before you bet. Turn your bonus into an edge with the insight that matters. Go to playbrocco.com today. Again, use that code VSIN at playbrocco.com. Boy, the show has flown by. We are closing things out next with our best bets and final thoughts for the day.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSIN, the Sports Betting Network.
up this Monday edition of Money Moves, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you live in downtown Las Vegas.
Both of us here at the
Circa
desk.
Resort and Casino. So what made you go down that tangent? We were in the commercial break, and JVT was saying, wow, isn't the word both a weird word?
I didn't just say that.
You said you and Adam Burke were both talking about
somebody was talking
the
about
word
it.
both and how weird of a word it was.
A lot of haziness there.
How many beverages were involved in this conversation?
There's usually always something
Any
involved.
gummies?
I was going to say, there's always something involved. Yeah, it's just a weird word, that's all.
I think there are a lot of weird words, but I don't know if both is like the number one word that comes to mind.
I mean, again, you put words into my mouth. I did not say it was number one. I just
What's number one?
I mean, I don't know. I have to think about it.
It's a weird one. Calamitous.
Yeah.
It's a weird word.
I mean, it makes me think that, of course, everything's fake and we're all just in some sort of simulation and my real body's in a pod somewhere deep underground giving energy to the machines, but that's a whole other
I guess
thing.
it's appropriate that today was our Call Me Crazy day, that you always have the tinfoil hat out and ready.
That's right.
Before we look forward to our best bets for tonight, let's recap how the weekend went. Highs and lows for me. Pretty much all highs for JVT.
I feel like you're doing it on purpose now. Yeah, I feel like you're trying to cut me down at the knees.
Why can't I just give you props and kudos for doing a good job? Kudos, another weird word.
Yeah.
But for me,
Great bar,
so
though.
the
Great
teasers finally came through again. So we're like a couple weeks in a row where the teasers are coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like we're getting back to level, which is nice. Had the Broncos and Ravens paired up and the Broncos and Lions paired
Somebody
up.
out there, that's not a Wong teaser. Like, who cares? Yeah, Broncos plus 10, you got there. You didn't really have to sweat it.
Let me live my dreams.
Yeah.
Yes, that was nice that throughout they were always in the territory, and obviously they end up winning the game outright over the Chiefs. Rico Dowdle didn't do it for us. I was very disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a funsies load up parlay on Sunday, and that did not work.
No,
That did not
had
work
one
out.
taken off the board too, which hurts. DK Metcalf over 52.5 receiving yards, didn't get there, but he was close. We told you already about the way I was commiserating about watching the Texans game, and they did not cover to the Titans, although they do escape with the win. Cash both of the overs in Packers, Giants, and 49ers, Cardinals, and then Christian McCaffrey had the over 49.5 receiving yards, and he was utilized all over the place. I've talked about how I wish that I would have done receptions instead of the yards, and that's how that ended up going. College football, 4-1, so we hit on just the blind play on the Irish.
Dude, that was ridiculous.
We were texting each other. What did you say?
Why did we just put our life savings
Life
on this?
savings on the Irish. Yeah, missed opportunity there. San Diego State comes through for us, as does the Ole Miss team, total over 35.5. Did not get there on the spread, obviously. They were in danger of losing that game and then ended up still winning by double digits. And then we got the Iowa USC under, although that was the sweat of all sweats for me watching in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, the Notre Dame one is just, you're never going to get, it's very rare you're going to get one of those where the coach is like, yeah, we don't care. And then it looked like they didn't care. That was incredible. So for the weekend for me, wherever we want to go, crew, I will recap first. NFL, Vikings and 9 do not get there as 2.5-point favorites. Broncos plus 4 win the game outright. Eagles cover as 2.5-point favorites. Dolphins get it done dramatically out of Madrid. And then the Packers-Ravens teaser, not without drama for both, but still eventually get there. Both needing late scores. The Ravens a very late score to get that done in the National Football League. In college, as Stormy mentioned, Notre Dame gets it done as 11.5-point favorites. Colorado State, baby. Never a doubt, almost won the game, plus 14.5. And the Aztecs get it done in a monsoon as 2.5-point favorites.
So my father, shout out Rich Buonantony, he listens to the show every
Mr.
day.
B.
And he has been riding the wave that you've had with the Mountain West Conference. And he was even texting me. He's like, I don't know about JVT picking Colorado State. I put it in the account, but I don't feel good about it. It's like, thank you, JVT.
Don't thank me. Just thank a bunch of plucky college students that reside out in Fort Collins. They got it done. They deserve the credit.
All right, shifting gears into tonight as we continue to move forward. We both do have a play on Monday Night Football, and you are the most adamant about your side, so why don't you give your final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I am. Raiders plus 3.5, minus 115 is out there. Took it. You can see here. I think this is DraftKings minus 112, but give me the Raiders. Again, I'm not in the business of asking a team with a bad defense to win by margin, which is what the Cowboys are. I think you can find some success here if you're the Raiders. Brock Bowers, obviously, finding success against the secondary, which is among the worst in the NFL. I call them the worst. They're like 31st across the board. I actually think, too, it depends on how they want to run Genty, but clearly the strength of this defensive line for the Cowboys is up the middle. So maybe run away from them. We'll see if maybe that's going to be part of the strategy. Maybe a couple of receptions for Ash and Genty as well. But I do think that the Raiders are live here. And let's give the Raiders some credit. They cover against the Denver Broncos. They cover against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, they have proven to be a little underrated by the betting market in recent weeks. And maybe this is just a continuation of that. I don't think they're particularly good, but you reach a point where you fall a little too far. And getting 3 and a hook at home, I'll take that.
Yeah, forced the Jags to overtime and clearly elevated on primetime last week. We'll see if they can do it again at home today. Total 49.5. And I will be rooting for you with the points here because this is our final leg of the Circa Million contest card. So
plus 3.5.
We'll see how that goes. All right, I'm cheering for you.
Dang, that just hit me. Because you gave me the last dealer's choice on our last pick, and we were what a debate. Titans or Raiders?
Yeah.
Could have already been in the clubhouse if we went with the Titans.
All right, go Raiders.
Yeah.
I'm here for you.
It's going to be disappointing if they don't get it.
And while I do hope the Raiders defense holds up for you, I would like a pop play to CeeDee Lamb if we can. I'm taking the over 26.5 longest reception for Lamb. He and Dak Prescott always seem to make it happen and go over this number. He's gone over this number every single game this season, with the exception of the one where he got knocked out of the game against the Chicago Bears. 12 straight games with Dak throwing him the football, dating back to last season. And this is a Raiders offense that I think is fair to say middling at best. So I know that you gave the stat out about how good they are at limiting the explosive plays, but it doesn't mean they can't get got every once in a while, and I think CD is probably a prime candidate to do so. Those are our best bets of the day. We'll continue to recap as we go throughout, but I wanted to hit on the way out of our show today some NBA news that came through, and I know we'll talk more in the association tomorrow looking at the card, but LeBron reassigned back to the Lakers from the G League, full participant in practice today, and could play his first game this week coming back from the sciatica, the issues that he had like with not being able to feel like part of his, right side of his body. Like, that's not a good feeling, but apparently everything has been pretty good for him looking forward. But where I wanted to go with this is you have a lot of people talking about how good the chemistry has been for the Lakers lately. Is there anything to him kind of maybe injecting himself and messing up that chemistry?
I don't think so. I mean, you know what? Maybe there is a case to be made that the second greatest player or best player of all time would ruin the chemistry of a team.
In year what?
I don't know. What are we talking about at this point?
It's like
20 whatever it is. I have faith that LeBron is going to be pretty fine in mixing himself into whatever chemistry the Lakers have going on here. And it's good. I mean, to your point here, to not bury
23.
10-4 this season. They've won 8 out of 10. They've won 2 straight. But how dare you doubt LeBron James?
I'm not doubting.
Greatness.
I'm just asking the question. I said people. I didn't say me.
People are saying.
People are saying. I can't help what I read on the internet.
Those people, I think, would be foolish to think that LeBron could not insert himself into a situation like this and help them maintain.
I got by something on the internet the other day.
What was it?
It was someone tweeting about CBS losing rights to March Madness in a few years.
Oh, you know what's funny is I actually read that, and I took that in as a fact, but luckily I did not talk to anybody about it.
Well, so I saw it, and then I saw the person from the account that said they were like college basketball, whatever, and had a pretty decent following. And I was like, oh, maybe this is real. But then I never saw anything about it from anywhere else. It's like, this would be massive news if that were to happen. So I'm glad I did not repeat that to anyone.
Yeah. My initial thought was, because what was it going to be? ESPN was the tweet?
Yeah.
Right? I was just thinking about Stephen A. Smith on all the broadcasts. It would have been a lot of fun. To the Lakers, too, I mean, I actually think, not that you need LeBron, you are playing above your skis in terms of win differential, like what you're expected to win with your statistics and where you're at. They're about 2 games ahead of schedule, essentially. So they're playing above their skis a bit, despite the fact, Stormy, that they are 10-4 on the season. They're outscoring opponents on average by just 1.9 points per game. That is an indicator that there is a fall from grace at some point coming for the Lakers. So what better way to kind of dampen that blow than getting a guy like LeBron back to help you out? I don't think there's going to be anything that LeBron comes in and ruins, if you will, for the Lakers.
I guess the reason that I kind of could listen to the argument is just because
You're a hater?
No, just because Luka has been able to be the unquestionable guy, and when LeBron is on the court asking how does that shift. That said, like, Luka has been awesome, and they're 2 of the best players in the world. I'm sure they'll find a way to make it work, and that's a great problem to have if you're the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yes, I will always acquiesce to that point. We have had many times in history where people will use the cliche of, oh, you know, there's only one basketball on the floor. Yes, we've also seen a lot of the times those pairings work really well. Now, championships weren't necessarily always the result, but when those Brooklyn Net teams with KD, Kyrie, and James Harden were all on the floor together, some of the best offenses you're going to see. Harden in his time with Houston, with Chris Paul, one of the best offenses you're ever going to see. These guys make it work.
Yeah. We'll have a little more NBA talk tomorrow. Luka Doncic, by the way, third shot on the board for MVP at 4-1 behind only Nikola Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We'll also have a little hockey tomorrow, puck around and find out, and so much more. So make sure you come join us tomorrow, same time, same place. That's a wrap for today. Good luck with the Monday Night Football bets. They'll continue to preview that game and a whole lot more on the other side. Follow the money. It gets going next with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard.